Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. In this video, we're going to show you how to install a garbage disposal. Whether you're replacing an old disposal or installing a new one, we're going to show you that it's easy to do yourself. But before we begin, we're going to make sure the appliance is unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Disposals come with different motor powers, anywhere from 1/3 to 1 horsepower. The size you choose will depend upon how many people there are in your household and what kind of foods you intend to grind up and how often. A 1/3 horsepower model is ideal for a studio or 1-bedroom apartment with just a person or two doing light grinding. 1/2 horsepower is recommended for the same, but since it's more powerful, there's less chance of it getting jammed and failing. 3/4 horsepower models are the most popular as they provide good overall power and are ideal for smaller families. Anything above that is recommended for bigger families or heavier use. In the box, you'll typically receive the disposal itself, the strainer flange, the sink flange seal, the mounting flanges and screws along with their retaining ring, and the discharge tube. They generally don't come with a power cord since they don't know how you'll be hooking it up. If your mounting assembly came pre-assembled, you're going to have to take it apart so you can install it properly. Make sure you unscrew the 3 screws almost all the way to make it easier to put in later. Whether you're replacing your disposal or installing a new one, you want to make sure everything is removed from the sink so we can put the new one in. Once everything is removed, you want to clean the sink flange area of any residue before we put the new flange in. Make a 1/2 inch thick rope of plumber's putty and apply it evenly around the new sink flange. Orient the flange how you want it facing in the sink and insert it through the hole. Press it down firmly into place. Don't worry about the excess putty that seeps out now. We're going to remove it later. Now we're going to go underneath the sink and put the mounting flange on. Start with the fiber washer, then the backup flange with the lip facing towards you, then the mounting ring that has the screws in it, followed by the snap ring. To get the snap ring on, you'll have to hold the mounting ring up and then start the snap ring over one side of the sink flange. Then use a flathead screwdriver to stretch it over the rest of the way. Once you have everything in place, use a Phillips screwdriver to tighten down the mounting screws evenly so that the mounting ring sits flat. You want to get it tight enough so that the putty has a good seal and so the sink flange doesn't spin when you put the disposal in later. Once you have it in, you can clean up any excess putty that seeped out from underneath the sink flange up above. If you have a dishwasher and you're going to attach a hose to the disposal, you'll have to remove the knockout plug. Lay the disposal on its side, and using a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, give it a good tap to knock the plug out. Then you can reach in with the needle nose pliers to remove it. Now we need to wire the disposal for power. Put a towel down to protect the countertop and set the disposal on the counter upside down. Then use a Phillips screwdriver to remove the cover plate and pull out the wires. Before we install the power cord, we're going to screw a 3/8 inch strain relief into the bottom of the disposal. If you're replacing a disposal, you can reuse your old one. In this example, we're going to use a pigtail extension cord that has the ends of the wire stripped back about 1/2 inch. When you look at the cord, you'll see that one side has ribs on it. That's the neutral white wire. The other side is smooth and is the black power wire, and the ground wire is the green wire in the center. If you have the type that's hardwired, follow your instruction manual. Then we're going to feed the wires through the strain relief hole. You can use the needle nose pliers to grab them and pull them through. And then using wire nuts, we're going to connect the ribbed neutral wire to the white neutral wire on the disposal. Then the smooth wire to the black power wire. Then we can use a Phillips screwdriver and attach the ground wire. Once you have the wires on, you want to make sure there's a little slack on the power cord so there's no tension on the wire nuts. Then use a Phillips screwdriver to tighten down the strain relief evenly. And put the access cover back on. Now we can put the discharge tube on, make sure the gasket's in place, and then slide the flange over the tube and use a 3/8 inch nut driver to tighten down the bolts. Depending upon your pipe layout underneath the sink, you may have to trim the discharge tube to the proper length. In our example, we're using a straight discharge tube from the old setup. Once you have that on, we're going to spray some water onto the gasket on top so it's easier to slide up into the mounting bracket. Then we can lift the disposal up into position and lock it into place. Make sure the 3 locking tabs on the disposal mounting ring line up and engage with the 3 on the sink mounting ring. Turn the lower mounting ring counterclockwise to get it started, and then use a special wrench to tighten it all the way. You must make sure all 3 tabs lock over the ridges to ensure it's secure. Don't worry if your disposal isn't facing the right way. Once it's locked in, it will spin freely. Rotate it so that you can line up your plumbing. You may need to trim the discharge tube to fit or buy more tubing to get it installed properly. As we mentioned before, we're going to reuse our original straight pipe. If you have a dishwasher hose to connect, attach it to the fitting where the knockout plug was and tighten it down with a 5/16 inch nut driver. Once you have everything installed, use the disposal stopper to plug the sink. Fill the sink with water to check for water leaks around the sink flange and mounting area. If there are no leaks, plug the disposal in or turn on the circuit breakers. Then remove the stopper and let the water drain out. And check for any leaks in the pipes. Once most of the water is drained out, go ahead and turn the disposal on to make sure it's working properly. It only takes a small amount of time, but has a massive impact on your enjoyment of the kitchen. As always, if you have any more questions, we're always happy to help at appliancepartspros.com.